I'll just give it like a minute to see if anyone else hops on. Have you, are you taking any supplements right now?
So I've actually, for the past like year or so, I've been on probably about I'd say like a 60% Soylent diet.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, I think that what I found is that overall it's been a good way to keep track of nutrients, and overall like my energy has been better, and I've, it's been a great way to stay relatively healthy without really having to put too much effort into it. But I'm also worried that it's kind of, I'm betting on this horse where, it's a very soy intense and oil intense diet.
Yeah.
And so I've really been thinking about that recently. And so I decided that I'm going to, at least for now, I'm curtailing the supply that's coming in so that, I could just finish what I have left and then look to other supplement alternatives, start really cooking my own meals more, as well as, just taking a supplement. And so, I know that, I definitely take you as a guy that I really trust when it comes for supplements. So when you said that you came up with something, it's a no-brainer that I would want to buy something.
Yeah, we can talk about that, because I think this information will help a lot of people, because of the other people who are doing shakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially, there's so many options out there in terms of like meal replacements. And to me, they're at a certain level where they're giving you the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats that your body needs, plus like the vitamins and minerals, right? And so that's enough to sustain the machinery of your body to live on a day-to-day basis. However, with nutritional science, we now know that our bodies actually also needs these phytonutrients, which I'll talk about in a second, to thrive, to fight off disease, to decrease inflammation, to affect enzymes of your body, which regulates, so many things. In fact, also the phytonutrients, especially like the broccoli one, it actually affects our DNA, right? It's on or off the genes that regulate our health, that your typical meal replacements are not going to have the ingredients to do that. I have yet to see a meal replacement that has the phytonutrients in them in enough amounts to do anything, just because it's just too expensive to make. For them to make a meal replacement that can fully encompass, replacing food, really, it would have to be, I would say probably like $20 a serving at least. Yeah, like minimum. Yeah, and so we'll talk about like how do we, if you are drinking shakes, especially for you, if you're getting in about 60% of your food from that, I almost feel like this supplement that we're going to talk about is going to be more important for you than other people who might be eating more of their calories from food and stuff. Yeah, I usually recommend, if you can, getting a minimum of 10 servings of vegetables and some fruits a day, minimum.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just because that's where all the anti-cancer, anti-aging, anti-disease, anti-inflammation stuff is. It's beyond the vitamins and minerals. It's all the cool little micronutrients and all that stuff.
What are some particular vegetables that you recommend?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot. So really want a variety. There is no sort of best vegetable, because there are literally thousands of these phytochemicals basically in plants, and they all have their benefits. And so I usually just recommend, if you can, for general health, eat different colorful vegetables throughout the week, right? So you can just rotate different colorful stuff, or just get lots of it. And what I do is, because certain days, like yourself, one of the benefits of something like a meal replacement, like Soylent, is you just drink it, right? It's less time consuming.
Yeah.
So another option you could do is, at work, at the office, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just blend tons of vegetables, a little bit of fruit, and a little bit of protein, and drink it. And so the prep time is about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes tops. And then the drinking time is, however fast you can chug is the drinking time. And that way of making a meal replacement will be definitely infinitely more healthy than getting something that's in a powder form and pre-made.
Yeah, and should probably just pack in 10 servings on that one beverage.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. Now go into some of this stuff. All right. Yeah, so can you see my screen right now?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, and so probably the main ingredient in this mix, it's basically an extract from broccoli. There's like, in fact, I look at the formula, there's like $9,000 worth of broccoli in this. And essentially one of the main ingredients in broccoli is this stuff called sulforaphane. And one of the reasons why I wanted to add this is because it probably has the largest amount of research in terms of its ability to literally kill cancer, like at the stem cells of cancer. It's actually really good for a lot of specific cancers like lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. And this is a substance that's kind of hard to get from food, mainly because even if you eat broccoli, what they're finding is that as soon as you cook it, a lot of this stuff gets degraded from the heat.
Yeah.
And also, even if you don't cook it and you cook it just right, they have this whole, it's got to be under a certain amount of temperature for a certain amount of time, which is a pain in the ass. Even if you follow those recommendations, you either need to have mustard, because there's another chemical in mustard that converts something into this chemical in your body, or you have to have just the right amount of a mix of microbiome, like the bacteria, in order to convert something else into this sulforaphane stuff into the body. And so I was able to find a manufacturer that directly was able to extract this specific chemical from broccoli directly. And the benefit of that is, as a scientist, I want to make sure that when people are taking in the necessary nutrients, that we're taking in the proven, like, medical research-based dosages, right? And so a lot of times when you get stuff from food, you don't know how much you're getting. There's so many variables depending upon how it's grown, how it's sourced, the heat that it was exposed to, and also, again, the bacteria and the enzyme mix in your body. And so as you can see, there's, literally over 4,618 research articles on this nutrient. Anything from, killing cancer to, they now understand, it actually can directly kill and prevent the formation of fat cells. So it has this sort of fat loss effect. And it actually decreases your risk of cancer because it switches the enzymes on that it's constantly basically reducing the formation of the cancer cells. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but basically in our body, there's actually cancer cells being made all the time. It's just our immune system, it's like Pac-Man, it kind of goes and eats up the cancer cells. And the cool thing about this ingredient is not only does it decrease the formation of the cancer cells, because it actually kills the stem cells that sort of sprouts the cancer cells, but actually it's almost like it makes Pac-Man like Super Pac-Man and kind of gobbles up the cancer cells much better.
Wow, right.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool to have this in your body because you're going to greatly reduce your risk of cancer. And there's even studies showing that it heals organs. Like if you have kidney damage from diabetes, there were studies showing that it literally reversed the damage of the diabetes. There were studies done on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There was even studies done on nerve damage. It actually reversing nerve damage with this, anything from peripheral nerves to, in fact, like the sciatic nerve. A lot of people have like pinched nerves in their back. This nutrient has been shown to actually reverse the damage of the nerves, which is pretty amazing. It has tons of anti-inflammatory effects. All this is just research on like TNF-alpha. This is like an inflammatory chemical that's huge, that's rampant in a lot of people's bodies. So there's a few ingredients I have in there to minimize inflammation in the body. Mainly because if you look at, the research on disease, many of the top researchers now understand that the root cause of about 80% of all diseases stems from this chronic inflammation in our body, which is huge. So anything that we can do to get rid of that chronic systemic inflammation basically minimizes your risk of 80% of all diseases, which is pretty massive. Yeah, and so this is pretty much the main ingredient. There's the largest amount of this stuff in the mix. Again, it's over $9,000 worth of broccoli in at least a 5,000 day serving, which amounts to, one of the things I said, we'll greenlight this if I think it takes 27 people to get a 6-month supply, which is 180 days to equal 5,000 servings. And then if enough people jump on, then I'll order all the ingredients and get it manufactured, made into capsules, and make it available for everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so I'll go over to the next ingredient, which is the cycloestrogenol. So this is an interesting extract from astragalus, which is basically like an herb. And the most fascinating thing about this ingredient is it's been shown to increase telomerase. And telomerase, I don't know if you're familiar with, it's an enzyme that lengthens what are called telomeres in our body. And telomeres are basically, how if you have shoes, right? So there's shoelaces. On the tip of each shoelace, there's these plastic tips. And the reason they're there is because it prevents a shoelace from fraying. And so the shoelace lasts longer. And so in our cells, the DNA strands are like two protein mixes, bound together. At the end of each tip of your DNA, there are these telomeres. They're like shoelace tips for your DNA. And as we age, the length of these telomeres shorten, basically allowing the DNA to fray or to decay. And when that cell replicates itself, it's almost like the carbon copy of that cell, that DNA, is not the same anymore. And that's part of aging, right? So as we age, we have cellular turnover. There's cells dying and renewing all the time. And if we can keep the DNA healthy, that means we can make a more accurate, a clear carbon copy of ourselves, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade, that basically slows down the aging process. One of the mechanisms of aging. And so this is one of the few ingredients that actually lengthens those telomeres, basically protecting your DNA from decay and damage. And so basically it slows down aging. It's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, huge. Right. And to give an idea, let me see if I can pull it up. I have it on Amazon somewhere. Give idea of what people, like relative values. Let me just pull this up. Yep. So here's a company, and this is not even the main company that sells this. Really, the main product is TA65. They're the most known to sell the cycloestrogenol. So in the mix, I have 20 milligrams per day. The research shows between 10 to 30 milligrams. I put 20 milligrams. And here's a company that's selling 25 milligrams for 30-day supply for $140. The TA65 product was the original product. It's a $200 a month supply. So literally just this one ingredient costs almost as much as the entire month of this mix, basically. Yeah, and it's such an important ingredient that helps protect the body. And so I was going to show you and even the broccoli, right? So here's another product. I was able to find, there's not too many companies, none on Amazon, that sells this directly. So this company sells the sulfuryl glucosinamide, which is this is like the precursor to this. Your body has to take this and has to use this enzyme, which is again found. They either have to add it or it's found in mustard to convert this into this. And the studies show that when you take this, only 20% of this amount is converted. So in other words, when you take 60 milligrams of this product, you're getting about 6 milligrams of the sulfuryl. Right?
That's it.
We have 50 milligrams of it, right? So that would be like taking, 9 pills of this product instead of 1 pill per serving, right? And the reason I like to show this is because a lot of these supplements out there, if you were to sort of try to mix this yourself, as you can see, this is way underdosed, right? Literally, you need to take 9 pills a day for this to be an effective dose. And this is a 60 capsules, so this will literally last you, 7 days. It's like 1 week's worth.
Yep.
And that's the game with the supplement industry.
Yeah.
They're putting out, great ingredients, but they're severely underdosing because, not many people are going to pay, we have to multiply this by 7 to get a month's supply, or really by 4 to get a month's supply. So not many people are going to pay, roughly $70 a month for just one ingredient. Yeah, so I'll show you another one. So another one is basically an extract from this plant. It's also found in banana. So it's basically the main ingredient is called chloroacetic acid. And in fact, on the order page, for people to kind of enroll in this, I have it where if you're purely keto, you actually cannot take this product just because it's going to cause low blood sugar. The chloroacetic acid from this plant literally helps your cells absorb insulin and absorb carbohydrates better. There's studies showing that just this one ingredient alone can decrease people's blood sugar between 10 to 30%. And actually, I have 3 ingredients in this mix designed to make your cells better able to process carbohydrates. And the reason we have that in there is because a lot of people are becoming sort of carb sensitive. And that has to do with like repeated bouts of sugary foods. It has to do with the chemicals that we're touching, rubbing it on our body and spraying on our body. A lot of them actually minimizes our ability to process carbohydrates. So we have 3 ingredients in this mix designed to help people process carbohydrates better. And it's why you kind of can't really use this if you're eating a no carb diet. What ends up happening is your body's going to be so good at absorbing carbs, and if you're not eating any, it's going to pull too much of it out of your blood, thus causing low blood sugar.
Got it.
Yeah. And so, I have it on there specifically where if you are eating even paleo, you want to make sure that when you take this supplement, at least a meal, you want to take this about 20 minutes before meal. That meal that you take, that you eat after this has to have some carbohydrates, right? If not, you're going to like self-induce like low blood sugar basically. And some of the cool effects of this is, what's interesting is for example, when you eat an extra calorie in a day, let's say you go out, you have a big meal, or even throughout the day, you just eat 8 more calories than your body needs. What's fascinating is, your body with that extra calorie has to decide, well, what am I going to do with this extra calorie, right? Do I use it to heal stuff with? Do I use it to fuel your muscles, right? To push carbohydrates into your muscles for fuel? Or do I use the extra calorie and store it in fat, right? So the old way of thinking of if you eat extra calories, it just automatically gets stored as fat. That's just kind of outdated way of looking at the body. We now understand that we can actually control the enzyme systems of your body. It's almost like the chemical state of your body. So when you eat extra calories, it gets used to heal and to move with, not to store as body fat. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, and so this is one of the main ingredients that will help do that in the body. Any questions so far?
No, so far this is great.
Yeah. And so next ingredient is ginseng, which, let me pull this up. Right, ginsenoside. So this is a very specific extract of ginseng that has the most research on anything from killing cancer, to reducing inflammation, to improving memory. It literally is one of the best protectors of like brain degeneration. If you look at some of these research, just to translate what these research articles are saying, basically this is like saying ginseng kills leukemia, right? Like literally, you can see how many of these natural substances can directly kill like cancer cells in your body, which is pretty awesome. And here's a study looking at just improving learning and memory, and there's tons of studies. And just on ginseng alone, there's 248 studies. It would be like a 10-hour video if I were to go through even just the summary of each one. But there's just tons and tons of research showing how it can directly kill cancer, improve memory, decrease inflammation in the body. And that's really the main premise of this mix is designed to do that. A nice side effect is you're going to get like fat loss on top of all this. You're going to be able to process carbohydrates better. You're going to have more energy. But the main intention of this mix is basically to help people like live longer and not die from cancer. Mainly because, you know, if we can just make it past like 2030 when nanorobots in our bodies that can basically help kill the cancer, like to me, that's like the finish line. My goal is to let's taste something to make sure we cross that finish line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nanorobots can do what our immune system currently cannot fully do. But in the meantime, we can use these nutrients to greatly amplify our immune system to be able to kill cancer cells using these sort of phytochemicals. And again, to give an idea of like cost of trying to buy something, I found a product on Amazon that actually has a 12% extract of the ginseng. And literally it's, and just to give an idea, so this is 2 bottles at 90 capsules.
Wow.
Yeah, for $216. And to give an idea, this is a 12% extract, which means each capsule with 250 milligrams, you're getting, you know, 12% of that is going to have the ginsenoside. So again, we're looking at about 30 milligrams, you know, 27.5 milligrams per capsule. In the mix, we're going to have 100 milligrams. So it'd be like taking 4 capsules of these a day. That's because that's the research proven dose. You need about 100 milligrams of this a day to have some type of therapeutic effect. And you can look at again, if you were trying to buy this on your own, just one ingredient will cost more than the mix. Yeah. And so another one, we'll look at L-theanine. So most people, these are the ingredients I figured no one's really heard of much. L-theanine is a pretty common ingredient. It's basically an extract. There's 2 extracts from green tea. So I added this one in because I figured most of the target population, like, I mean, really everyone that said yes, it's, you're all entrepreneurs. We all want to maximize our brain function. Of course, we all have businesses, which means there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to juggle. And L-theanine basically helps our brain process some of the information. Have you ever heard of people say, like, let me sleep on it and make a decision?
Yeah.
Really, when we sleep, our brain processes that information in it's like our subconscious can do stuff with that information and make much more complex sense of it. And you can make a better decision in the morning. The interesting part is L-theanine has that same effect on your body or your brain. It actually helps your body process information better. The other thing it has is it has a super duper anti-stress, anti-anxiety effect on your body. And so obviously as an entrepreneur, life's are, lots of ups and downs. And so during those down parts, this is a great supplement in your body to minimize sort of the stress, the feelings of stress, anxiety in your mind, which then basically minimizes the release of stress hormones. And these stress hormones, they now understand, again, like cortisol, epinephrine, the fight or flight response chemicals, if staying in excess in our body, think of it as, it literally is like, it's like dipping our organs in acid. It literally is like melting our organs. Every organ in our body, our brain, everything is literally being melted by this cortisol stuff that's in excess. And so L-theanine is a great ingredient to help minimize all of that, and basically just help your body process information better and help you cognitively. And let's see, those plus curcumin. So at curcumin, just type it in here. Curcumin's a pretty common one. Again, I'm going over some of the more common ones now. Have you ever heard of curcumin or taken curcumin before?
No, I've never heard of it.
No, yeah. So it's basically an extract from a spice called turmeric. And you can get that in any health food store. So tons of research on curcumin in terms of, again, killing cancer cells, but it's actually one of the most powerful anti-inflammatories. Again, as you can see, this common theme of decreasing inflammation and killing cancer, because to me, it's almost, they go almost hand in hand, right? Because excessive inflammation creates this chemical environment to produce cancer. And curcumin, again, is probably one of the best natural anti-inflammatories that directly kills many cancers, especially colon cancer. So, hold on, my wife's gonna blended shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yep. So, yeah, probably one of the best things to decrease inflammation and kill cancer. And there's all kinds of information on tons of other effects that are super healthy. But again, I mean, we're adding is anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory. And a cool effect of curcumin, actually, it's a benefit of on the brain is there's direct research showing that protects your brain mainly because of the anti-inflammatory effects from getting Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, like all the brain diseases we don't want. Curcumin's a great ingredient to help minimize the risk of that stuff. Any questions so far?
No, so far so good.
Yeah. So again, those are probably the main active ingredients. I have berberine in there. I'll show you. Again, this is one of the ingredients that also helps our body regulate blood sugar. The cool thing about berberine is it actually heals a bunch of organs in our body. Almost every organ they've studied on, it actually helps, heal it. Livers, kidneys, stomach. There's tons of research on this. Again, just looking at this, there's over 4,000 research articles just on this ingredient. Yeah, and so again, it's all about getting the body to be able to process the nutrients better, especially carbohydrates. And one thing I would say is some of the people I know that said yes to this are just, in generally healthy, stable, no disease states. And literally this will help protect your body and optimize it. Now, I always tell patients, when you get your blood work from doctors, your typical blood panel is designed to make sure there's no diseases in your body, but that blood work in no way tells you how healthy you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty unhealthy, and your blood work can show that you're not dying. And then your doctor, your traditional doctor at least, would say, hey, everything looks great, you're not dying. But you could definitely have markers where you're not healthy and it's just not showing up as a disease on that blood work. And one of the things that this mix will do is it will optimize your health, which is why I'm basically, trying to make it a requirement for everyone to get pre and post blood work, before starting this, right? I'm actually, you'll see on the page, I'm incentivizing people to do this because I want the data. That's the exchange. Like I'm literally offering this at cost, plus my time to put this together in exchange for data, right? This is the first value. I believe there's going to be a huge demand for this. In fact, I believe this is going to evolve into, in the future, I can totally see someone who fills out a little survey and it's going to have like, if you currently have, diabetes, blood pressure, whatever issues, you fill that out. And then we can take that data plus what are your future wants and needs. You can say, I want to lose weight, or I want to make sure I, reduce my risk of cancer, whatever it may be. I can totally see a system where we can customize supplements like a year supply based on your unique body and your unique needs, right? Because many of the ingredients somewhat overlap with just a few tweaks, and also a few tweaks in dosages. We can accomplish, very unique wants and needs. And so I can totally picture like, we just have, vats of, 20 main ingredients and start customizing a batch for one individual, blend it, put in capsules for a year's supply for that person. And now it gets, it's like done for you, customized supplement program where you don't have to do all the work of researching. I think we
Wow.
can,
Yeah, that would be big.
Yeah, I think that would be huge. And just looking at thousands of research articles in the last couple months just pertaining to this, I can see the pattern in which that's available because there's so many overlaps. Like for example, just in this mix, if I just double the cortisolic acid, I can't say cure, but I would say it would take anyone that's currently type 2 diabetic taking medications. I can almost guarantee you they can get off of their medications, and this supplement will work better than their medication. In fact, I'm like trying to make sure that the cortisolic acid, that one ingredient, is not too high because again, like we talked about earlier, it can actually induce low blood sugar because it's making your body so good at processing carbohydrates and sugars. Yeah, so that's an example. Like if I just increase that by 20 milligrams, literally this mix would be amazing for any diabetic. Yeah, that's going to be a fun project just we'll see how this evolves into and what people's needs are and how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine especially with type 2 diabetics. I mean, it's great timing because I've been thinking about that a lot, and how current pharma created medications really they don't address the root cause
Yep.
of type 2 diabetes at all. And
Yep.
so it's really cool to hear that this is something that's going to, not only for type 2 diabetics, but for pre-diabetics that don't even realize that they're, on the cusp of getting type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking the other day, I wanted to start this whole movement, like hashtag, treat the cause, which is like whenever you go to
Treat the cause. I like that.
like go to your doctor and they go, oh, take this. And you ask them, is this thing that you're recommending treating the cause? And I guarantee you, 99% chance they're going to say, no, it doesn't. Right? Because right now, almost every drug out there basically is only treating the symptoms and not the cause.
Yep.
Right. And so many of the things in this mix is trying to help treat the cause. For example, the sulforaphane from broccoli, it literally helps your body pull out and get rid of toxins by 34%. Well, what does that mean? Well, the toxic chemicals, right? The research shows if we took an average drop of blood or a blood from average Americans right now, there's 300 chemicals in our blood that don't belong there. And the effects of 300 unknown, untested, unsafe chemicals is a dramatic increase in certain cancers and certain diseases. So if we can flush out those chemicals 34% more effective, to me, that's like treating the cause of a lot of diseases.
Yeah, that's a horrifying statistic.
It is. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the stat. Like the average male rubs on about 70 chemicals, and the average female is double that, about 140 chemicals.
Wow.
Just from our, soap, shampoos, lotions, the car that we touch, the cell phone that we touch, it's all been, contaminated with chemicals. And I always like to tell this stat, which is since 1976, 82,000 chemicals have been introduced into our products in our environment. Less than 300 have any safety testing.
Wow.
That's the stats.
Yeah, and you brought up cell phones too, and it's something that I really just started to think about. And for me, I think that we all have our cell phones on like all day long. Mm-hmm. A lot of us use them as alarm clocks and stuff. And I was just thinking, all of the radiation that we're exposing ourselves to, and all these unknown, untested consequences. And it's still such a new technology that we don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be.
Yeah, I can tell you there are already research showing how the Wi-Fi waves directly is affecting our genetics.
Oh God.
Yeah. And so you definitely want to recommend. I usually recommend if you're going to be on the cell phone for a long time, at least use a hands-free version, like a wire hands-free version, or actually get on the landline. I mean, I personally try not to use a cell phone next to my head for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely data showing that it's harmful for our bodies.
Yeah, like I'll usually put it on speakerphone, so I'm at least not, but I'm still afraid of, just the proximity of it. Like if the cell phone is even in the same room as me.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm afraid of too.
Yeah. I mean, I know at night, I basically just put my phone on airplane mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. To minimize, again, all this stuff. But, to me, it's like input output, right? So we get to decide how much toxic, whether it be chemicals or toxic, wavelengths that are coming into your body. It's impossible to avoid it all. We would have to live in a cave in a mountain somewhere. And so we minimize that. And then we maximize getting rid of it in our body. And that's one of the beauties of this mix is it has specific ingredients to help get rid of some of the toxins. And if there's going to be toxins in our body, again, it's like Pac-Man, going and gobbling up all that stuff, trying to get rid of it. Because I feel like if any human is not doing this, they're at a severe disadvantage. Mm-hmm. Because our bodies are just There's no better way to put it than our bodies are literally being poisoned right now for profits. And this is, to me, it's like playing defense in terms of like trying to protect our bodies from all those toxins. Cool. Do you have any other questions at all?
No, I mean, I am just really enthusiastic to get on board with this. So,
awesome. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the original post on Facebook.
Okay.
And just post like a sign up sheet. And again, so, and I have it on there, like basically I'm going to give people between now and March 1st. And maybe later I got to see, because I know a lot of people are at traffic and conversion summits. I'll see when that ends, give people a day or two buffer room. Maybe I'll make it after that because I might be busy at the conference. And so a hard cutoff date where basically between now and then, as soon as we get 27 people basically to enroll, that tells me, okay, we have enough demand for the 5,000 day supply. And so I'll go and order it. And the turnaround time between ordering it, getting to a manufacturer for them to stick it in capsules, to put them in bottles and then ship it out is probably going to be at least a 3-week process.
Okay.
Yeah. So just set expectations. So it'll be from today, it'll probably be like a 4-week turnaround time, because a week for people to enroll and then 3 weeks for processing and manufacturing. And then we'll just get it into people's, hands. And, again, I'm going to, beg people to make sure they get their before and after blood work.
Blood work, yeah.
For sure. That's a trade-off. Like, to me, I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to do it, except, I put it on the page, like, if you don't, I can't force people to do it because, I might drive to your house and shake you down for the blood work. But to me, that's the valuable data. I believe with enough of that data, we're going to start to see how amazing this stuff will be in healing people's bodies. Like, I've already seen elements of this over the years. I've had staff members with like liver damage and diabetes and stuff, and I've recommended elements, like 1 or 2 of the ingredients in this massive mix in this thing. And we've been able to literally reverse their disease process. It's amazing. When you go to the doctor's like, in 6 weeks, not 6 months, after 6 weeks, I've seen liver enzymes completely normalized just using 2 ingredients. So, so I want to get that data from all the people that's participating and see what's happening to all their normative values.
So what's the cost for this again?
It's basically about $150 a month. So it's a 6-month supply for $925. That'll cover everything. So, which as you can see, I can't stress, like, just one of the ingredients alone that we looked at costs almost more than this.
Oh yeah.
Just the ginseng would cost more than this, and just the ginseng and the cyclohexanol, which is like the anti-aging telomerase one.
Yeah.
Just alone retail will cost you $300 a month.
Yeah, no, it's pretty absurdly low, just going through.
Yeah, like literally this is cost. Like, just the raw materials on this mix for the 6-month serving, and I still have to get it made, and this is no shipping, just like raw materials cost is more than $500. Right, that's excluding all the back end stuff. I had to get it shipped and made and manufactured. Yeah. So again, I'm making it like basically at cost for the first batch. In exchange, the value exchange is I get the data. I want the blood work data. So if this actually happens to turn into an actual company and we sell it, I'll have all the data that I can show people the effects of it.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'll definitely fill out the sign up sheet and go to the doctor to get the blood work set up. And yeah, man, this is great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. And then, again, depending on people's needs, if people have questions and stuff, I can, either private message, or I feel like if people want to, I could create like maybe a group page for people to, ask questions during the next 6 months or whatever. I'll see basically whatever people want, I'll create it and, see what the needs are.
Yeah, I think that'll be great.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much for this. Yeah, this was really informative. And if you could send me the recording too.
Sure.
Yeah, I took notes, but I just want to look back, and
Yep.
you know, you gave a lot of great explanations
Yeah.
on the ingredients, and so yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, I'll probably just upload the recording and slap it on the sign up page, and then
Awesome.
the link in the sign up page.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, cool. All right, talk soon.
All right.